Arnhem Land is one of the last places on Earth where you don't have to search to find a true wilderness. When you gaze out over the plains in any direction, 9 times out of 10 you won't see another living thing larger than a bird or lizard. Sometimes in the forest, you might catch a glimpse of a feral buffalo that's been watching you far longer than you've been watching him. Or off in the distance, a group of wild ponies reluctantly sharing the land with the native animals. But most of the time, all you see is a vast emptiness. These magnificent areas are some of the most impressive empty landscapes in Australia. But to the original inhabitants, these wide open spaces are far from empty. Every feature is rich in meaning, and in many places, there's a particular significance. Overhanging rocks were favourite Aboriginal campsites. This place was used often when the clan moved camp several times a year to follow the food supply. It's a sacred spot, rich in ancient paintings, one of the thousands of art sites in the north that are hidden far away from the beaten track. We see a white figure of the Earth Mother from the dream time, alongside reminders of the days before written history, when this spot overlooked the ocean and was a rich source of seafood. Other paintings are like house signs. This one shows the site as sacred to the Gumulkbun clan. The dingo is a clan symbol, and the painting shows a mythological creature, half man, half dog.
Dingo head, through the whiskers here, painted in white with yellow striping, come down to the bottom end of the feet, and you see the dingo-shaped feet.
And the rest of him's basically human?
Human, yeah, which makes him a spirit figure.
What's he carrying?
The image also lays down the law. It tells residents and visitors the dingo is protected in the entire area and must not be harmed in any way. Every clan has sacred animals, helping to ensure that no species is hunted to extinction. Strict moral codes are reinforced by tales of dreamtime humans turned into animals or part of the landscape as punishment for their crimes. The brolga, one of the most graceful birds of the Australian bush, started life as a warrior spirit sent down by the Creator to teach the art of dancing. But when the warrior made a habit of sneaking into the bush with young women attracted by his dancing, the creation spirit ordered 13 elders to club him to death with a single blow each.
Every bloke hit him on the head once. Immediately after the 13th bloke hit him on the head, he turned into the brolga. That's why the brolga has that red mark on his head. Represents the blood that was coming out of his head. From that day on, brolga only has one partner, and he dances for his partner to earn her. If she dies or he dies, they stay by themselves for the rest of their life. Brolga was a dancer.
Every clan has its own story for every animal, and many of the stories have moral lessons. Like the frillneck lizard, it was once a small boy who disobeyed his elders and refused to stop playing the fool during a ceremony of initiation.
He woke up the next morning and he found he was in a different form. Scaly, skinny, and he had this big ear. And he walked up to the old fellas and said, "What am I like this for?" They told him, "You can't play inside ceremony. You're skinny, you're ugly now. And this big thing," he said, "what's this?" He said, "That's that ear. Next time you go ceremony, you sit down and you listen quietly."
So the frillneck's puffed up collar is a giant ear. But to me, it was the fancy footwork that made the story of his human origin just that little more believable. The greatest lesson the Aborigine learns is to live in harmony with his land and to respect the power of the elements. Searching along the beachfront of the Arafura Sea for hidden food on the tidal flat, we see a storm in the distance starting to sweep towards the shore. Knowing when to stay and when to run is something that Tom Winter has learnt only too well during his years with the Aborigines.
We better get out of here.
Well, we're going to be in trouble?
Well, we've got to get across them black soil plains before that storm hits, or we're in big mobs of trouble.
What if we don't?
Well, if we don't, we'll be stuck here for a week. This stuff becomes bottomless once it gets wet. One of the big storms coming into the build-up is one of the best ones I've seen come in this area in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So it's going to drop about, could range between 5 and 6 inches of rain in about an hour. Oh, have a look at her in front of her now. There's a good chance to have a tree blown out of the ground here any minute.
There's only one way out, along the faint tracks worn by Tom's own vehicle. Our mad race against the storm lasted half an hour at speeds that Tom certainly wouldn't do by choice. The alternative was to be trapped in mud that gets soft and deep enough to completely swallow a car. It's happened before.
Right, we've made it. Phew. That was the last bit of black soil plain. If we get stuck now, at least we can winch ourselves out. We've got some trees around us. You learn to live with the weather up here, and you learn to understand it, and you read the signs, and when nature says, I'm going to drop about 6 inches of rain on you and you're in the wrong spot, you know you've got to move. You never move too late. Seeing the storm coming, you knew when to run.
Back at the campsite, the rain and the storm is no longer a menacing danger. It becomes a welcome relief from the heat of the day in the midsummer of Arnhem Land.